Stop breathing through your mouth. A 2020 Stanford experiment led by science journalist James Nestor tracked what happened when subjects taped their noses shut and breathed exclusively through their mouths for 10 days. Their blood pressure spiked. Their HRV crashed. Their nasal cavities collapsed. Their faces literally changed shape. In the next 30 days, here is exactly what mouth breathing does to your face, your sleep, your nervous system, and your dental structure, and the 5-second fix that reverses it while you sleep. The problem is that roughly 40% of adults breathe through their mouths at night without knowing it. Guilleminault at Stanford spent 30 years documenting how chronic mouth breathing drives sleep-disordered breathing, narrow dental arches, forward head posture, and downstream cognitive decline. Nasal breathing does the opposite. The nose humidifies air, filters pathogens, warms the airflow, and, critically, produces nitric oxide in the sinuses. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator that improves oxygen uptake in the lungs by roughly 18% compared to mouth breathing. USIF 2019 in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine showed that adults who switched from mouth to nasal breathing at night saw HRV climb, sleep onset shorten, and deep wave sleep increase measurably in 2 weeks. The 5-second fix is a piece of medical tape across the lips at night. Here is the day-by-day breakdown of what happens across 30 days of nasal breathing. Day 1, you tape your lips before sleep for the first time. Within minutes, your nasal cavities begin producing more nitric oxide. Your airflow is warmer, more humid, and lower resistance. Day 2, you wake up without cotton mouth for the first time in years. Day 3, your morning cortisol response gets cleaner because your sympathetic nervous system was not fighting hypoxia all night. Day 4, your HRV climbs 3 to 5% above baseline. Day 5, your sleep onset shortens by 5 to 8 minutes on average. You fall asleep faster because your parasympathetic branch is properly activated. Day 6, your snoring decreases dramatically or stops entirely. Your partner notices before you do. By day 7, your morning breath is fresher, your throat feels less inflamed, and you notice you can hold a normal conversation without pausing to catch breath. Your nasal cavity, which had partially collapsed from disuse, is starting to reopen structurally. Day 8 is when the deep wave sleep upgrade compounds. Because you are no longer micro-arousing throughout the night from mouth-breathing airway resistance, your brain spends more time in slow wave and REM stages. Day 9, growth hormone secretion during deep sleep increases measurably. This is when the body actually repairs tissue, and mouth breathing was blunting it every single night. Day 10, your dental arches begin experiencing the correct pressure signals from your tongue resting on the palate, which is impossible with an open mouth. Long-term, this reshapes the palate. Day 11, your inflammatory markers drop. Chronic mouth breathing drives systemic inflammation through poor oxygenation and airway irritation, and the reversal shows up in blood work within 2 weeks. Day 12, your morning blood pressure has dropped 2 to 4 millimeters of mercury on average from the vagal tone improvement. Day 13, your daytime energy stabilizes. No more 3 p.m. crash. Day 14, HRV is up 10 to 15% from baseline. Sleep architecture on any wearable tracker shows visibly more deep and REM sleep, less light sleep, less time awake. Week 3 is when the structural changes start becoming visible. Day 15, your forward head posture begins correcting because nasal breathing engages the diaphragm properly and lengthens the neck flexors. Day 16, your morning face is less puffy. The fluid retention from poor overnight oxygenation clears. Day 17, your jawline is more defined. This is not muscle, it is water and lymphatic drainage improving. Day 18, your dentist notes reduced plaque buildup at your next visit. Mouth breathing dries saliva, and saliva is your primary defense against decay. Day 19, your resting heart rate has dropped 4 to 6 beats per minute. Day 20, your afternoon cognitive benchmarks measurably improve. You feel sharper in meetings. Day 21, your voice sounds cleaner because your vocal cords are properly hydrated and your resonance chambers, previously collapsed, have expanded. Friends notice the change without knowing why. The final week is where the compound reveal lands. Day 22, your dental arch shows measurable widening. In children, this happens in weeks. In adults, it takes months. But the trajectory begins here. Day 24, your VO2 max climbs measurably from improved oxygen extraction and vascular function. Day 26, your immune resilience shifts. Nasal breathing filters roughly 98% of airborne pathogens through the sinuses. Mouth breathing filters zero. The pathogens go directly to your lungs. Fewer upper respiratory infections show up in your data over the next 3 months. Day 28, your prefrontal cortex activity improves on cognitive testing. Nasal breathing engages the olfactory bulb, which projects directly into the limbic system and prefrontal cortex. Day 29, your sleep tracker shows the highest average score you have ever recorded. Day 30, your face looks measurably different in photos. Your HRV is up 15 to 20%. Your resting heart rate is 5 to 7 beats per minute lower. Your sleep quality on any tracker shows sustained gains. Your dentist is confused about your gum health, all from a piece of tape at night and conscious daytime nasal breathing. Here is the practical part. At night, apply a small piece of medical porous tape across the center of your lips before sleep. Not a full mouth cover, a small strip, enough to remind your lips to stay closed but easy to break through if you need to. During the day, breathe in through your nose, out through your nose, slower than you think. Your tongue should rest on the roof of your mouth just behind your front teeth, not the floor of your mouth. If your nasal cavity feels blocked, this is because it has partially collapsed from years of disuse. It will reopen in 3 to 5 days. If it does not, see an ENT. You may have a deviated septum. If you have sleep apnea, chronic sinusitis, or moderate to severe congestion, see a physician first before taping. But for most adults, mouth taping is safe, cheap, and profoundly effective. 5 seconds a night, zero cost. The single highest leverage sleep intervention you can start tonight. Science made easy every week.